Frequency, Chapter 3, Second Chance. Tonight was a quiet one. Well, as quiet as a club could ever be, which wasn't quiet at all. Weeknights tended to make for smaller crowds. Vinyl didn't mind. Small crowds were easy to please. Sure, she got a thrill out of making a packed club jump on commands, but sometimes easy nights were nice. This time, Vinyl was distracted, so that made the small crowd welcome. She had her headphones set so that only one ear was covered, allowing her to keep track of work while talking to Bouncing. He was looking over the sheet music she'd offered him with a studious frown. "I don't know, Vinyl." He flipped a page. "This doesn't seem like your usual style." "That's not a bad thing. My usual style didn't exactly sell big." He pouted, but only a little. "Hey, at least you got an album out in the first place. Some of us are still aiming for that milestone." With a sheepish smile, she worked the turntable and started the next song. "You'll get there, Double B, and it'll feel good." "Yeah, that's what ponies keep telling me." He flipped a few more pages. "Where'd you get the idea for this anyway? It seems a lot more brooding." "Remember that annoying kid I spoke to on the radio?" "Yep." Vinyl grinned and patted the paper in his hooves. "She might have been annoying, but the idea behind her little deception inspired that." Huh. He set the sheet music down. "Maybe you should thank her." "Oh, goddess, no." She stuck out her tongue and faked a gag. "She'll probably try to reel me in with more of her attention-grabbing angst." He smirked. "Plus, you don't want to give her undue credit." Vinyl raised an eyebrow. "You make it sound like I'm stealing from her." "Maybe you are." He punched her lightly on the shoulder. "Don't worry, your dirty little secret's safe with me. It'll only cost you your eternal soul." The hit was returned, but it came with a chuckle. "Right, like I'd give it to you." Things fell quiet between them, both turning their attention to the music and the crowd. Vinyl found herself wondering about Addie for the first time in over a week. The pony was probably pulling her little stunt on some pony else by now. What the hey did she get out of such a twisted little game? Bouncing elbowed her in the ribs and pointed to the bar. "Friend Zone Club, 10 o'clock. A questioning frown was on her lips. She turned her eye on the bar. It didn't take long to catch his meaning, for there, watching the crowd with an uncertain look, sat Flash Sentry. "Well, there's the face I didn't expect to see around here again." At least he didn't look all mopey and miserable, like last week. Though he definitely didn't seem to belong in the club. Bouncing gestured with his head towards Flash. "Maybe he came here looking for you." "Doubt it." Yet even as she turned her attention back to the crowd, Vinyl's stomach twisted just a little. Bouncing leaned against her and grinned. "You dodging?" The barked laugh came out a little too strong. "Dodging what?" He poked her in the ribs a couple of times. "I don't know, maybe he's into you." "Yeah, right." She slapped his hoof away with a cheeky smile. "Don't you have something better to do than annoy me?" "Yeah." He snatched the headphones off of her head. "I can take over and let you go talk to Prince Charming." "Give me those!" He levitated them out of her range. "Come on, Double B, I don't get off for another hour." He grinned. "Daylight savings time?" "Not for another month." She grabbed at the headphones with her magic. "Stop it, the song's gonna end any second now!" His magical hold was just a little stronger than hers, but she was able to pull them down some. She stood up and stretched her hoof, but a bump from Bouncing's hip was just enough to topple her from the bench. By the time she looked up, he was sitting in her spot and had the headphones on. He shot her a wicked grin and started the next song. Vinyl sulked and mouthed, "You're a jerk." "Guilty as charged," he said with a laugh. Vinyl considered battling him for the position again, but thought better of it. He was bigger, had stronger magic, and wasn't one to give up easily. Plus, it wouldn't look too good for the club's DJs to fight like fools over a new toy. So with a resigned sigh, and one extra hard punch to his shoulder for good measure, she made her way to the bar. Velvet waved as she approached. "Calling it early tonight?" Double B got grabby with the headphones. Velvet looked towards the turntable. "Attention hound."
Miss Scratch?
Vinyl's smile faded, but only for a moment. She groaned inwardly and turned to Flash.
Oh well, if it isn't Bolt Butt. How goes the pining and longing duty?
Ouch. Flash Sentry pressed a hoof to his heart. Going right for the throat already, huh? She smirked.
You're the one trying to make goo-goo eyes at the Princess of Friendship.
I guess. He sat next to her, face red. Look, I wanted to apologize for last week. I kinda made a fool out of myself. Vinyl rolled her eyes and turned to the bar.
Dude, does this look like a shrink's office? Ponies get plastered here all the time.
That may be, he replied, a touch of firmness in his tone. But I'm supposed to be a royal guard. I shouldn't have let that happen, and I imposed you. Maybe he'd been chewed out by his superior and felt some duty to apologize.
So what? Even tightwad guards need to take a break every now and then?
She tapped the bar to get Velvet's attention.
Luna on the stars.
Velvet was already grabbing bottles.
You want the Zinfandel? Surprise me.
The Pegasus raised his hoof. I'll buy that one. Vinyl let out a groan and shoved his hoof to the counter.
Dude, I work here. That means I get a discount. Save your bits.
But I feel like I owe you. He blushed once more and stared at the countertop. You know, for dragging my intoxicated flank back to the castle.
Well, you were pretty heavy for a Pegasus.
She noted.
Look, I don't let stallions buy me drinks.
Velvet set the dark drink before Vinyl with a grin.
No, she only lets mares do that.
That prompted a roll of the eyes, but the way Flash's entire face turned red made Vinyl smile. Shut up and put the dust in there already. She obliged, letting a small amount of powder fall into the glass. Within seconds, the drink began to bubble and produce a pale blue foam. The liquid underneath shimmered as if it contained thousands of tiny stars. Whoa. Flash leaned down to peer at the glass. How does it do that?
Business secret.
Vinyl took the glass in her magic and dipped her muzzle into the foam, sucking down the beverage.
Ooh, peach Zinfandel this time? Weird, but not bad. Wipe your face.
Velvet instructed, dropping a few napkins before her as she walked off to deal with other clients. As Vinyl did as she was told, she heard Flash quickly set something in front of her. Scowling, she pulled the napkins from her face and looked down. What she saw was not at all what she expected. A record case. A very familiar one.
You...
She turned to find Flash looking anywhere but at her.
Is this yours?
If his cheeks got any redder, they'd set the bar on fire. I didn't choose this particular club at random, you know. Vinyl gaped at him, then at the record case.
I sold like maybe 300 of these. No pony has them.
Well, I do. He was finally able to look directly at her. Would you mind signing it?
Seriously? You want my autograph?
The determined study of the counter resumed. I liked it. What do you want me to say?
No, it's just...
She laughed and slapped him on the shoulder.
Sure, why not? My very first autograph.
There was an instant of delight on his face that rapidly faded to confusion. First? Really?
Yep.
She leaned over the bar and waved.
Hey, Velvet! Let me borrow your pen when you get back here.
I find it hard to believe that no pony has asked for your autograph before. Flash pressed.
Believe it, Bolt Butt, 'cause it's true.
Now she was the one blushing.
So, yeah. Save it. Someday I really will be famous, and this'll be worth your weight in bits.
Her focus shifted to the case in her hooves.
So, which song did you like the most?
He rubbed his chin and thought. I'm not sure. Radical Highway is the first on my mind, but Neon Dust was pretty solid.
Neon Dust was pretty solid.
She grinned and thought on the music in her head, then shook the memory off.
I'm gonna be trying something new next time. I mean, it's great that you like what I did, but you're kind of in the minority.
Flash's wings started to open, but he quickly snapped them to his sides. Next time? You mean you're making another one?
I had some inspiration recently.
She paused and turned to study him.
come to think of it.
Flash noted her gaze and fidgeted. What? She rubbed her chin, her mind drifting back to the night he'd shown up.
You know, if you hadn't gotten plastered here, I might have never gained the inspiration.
Flash busted out laughing. You mean to tell me you were inspired by a drunk, heartbroken soldier you had to drag halfway across town? God, is that gonna make for some interesting lyrics. She laughed in turn and whacked him on the shoulder.
That's not what inspired me, you dork. It was...
She sobered quickly.
It was... loneliness.
His smile faded, and his wings sagged. Oh. Amid the heavy beats and flashing lights, their world became quiet. Neither would look at the other, and Vinyl found herself very interested in her drink. Although she tried to avoid it, her thoughts kept going on to Addie. Even if she didn't want to believe the story offered, how must that pony feel? Was she looking for attention because she was needy? What if there was something else going on? She was abruptly reminded of her father and his stories. He'd had a very powerful way of speaking, a way of making his audience vividly recall what he had to say. When he'd finally explained why he had that radio in the first place, well, she'd grown a lot closer to the old stallion afterwards. Could it be that Addie was reaching for the same thing? And she'd slammed the door in the pony's face.
There you go.
Vinyl blinked and looked up to find Velvet standing over her and a pen being proffered.
You okay, Vinyl? Yeah, I'm fine.
She snatched the pen with a grin and flipped the record case so the album name was facing up.
To Flash Sentry. Thanks for reminding me of the important stuff. Vinyl Scratch.
I didn't think you'd remember my name, he said as he watched her write. Then he accepted the case. Thanks, you are officially awesome. She pointed at him with the pen.
It took all my willpower not to address it to Boltbutt, so consider yourself lucky.
She stared at the record case in his hooves and smirked.
Dang, but that's a missed opportunity. I'll be a diamond dog.
Velvet chuckled as she took her pen back.
Vinyl's got a fan. How long before you're joining the Mile High Club and surrounding yourself with cute colts?
Vinyl grinned and elbowed Flash, making him blush profusely.
Give it time.
Flash leaned back, his eyes darting about wildly and a silly smile on his face. Come on, I'm not that desperate. His face paled when the mirrors exploded with laughter. I mean that I'm not saying that I'd have to be, I'm just not interested in... that's not what I meant. Face burning, he pressed his forehead to the counter amid their ongoing mirth. I'm gonna shut up now. Poor Flash. I can only vaguely remember as a kid when people used to shit on Flash so much. Oh man, what a time. Anywho, let's get on to our charming donators. Top donators are 630, Only One Thing, Ceru, Orion, and IronSky. Darkside, Rayden, Narwhals, Blackmoonheart, Pastel Skies, Austin, Rolan, Stu Hex, Sword Brother, and Mordred, Omicron Library, Brun's Life 9052, Will, Chris, Twinkie, Rides All, Badass Waffle, Shadow Moon, Luigi 88, Chancellor Crust, Big Smoke 369, Jesse Smith, Bobcat GGF, and many more awesome people. Thank you all so much for watching this video and live life to the fullest.